brands are dealing with consumers who do not have linear experiences. Brands are needing to be in multiple places at once. You're building this relationship with this consumer, the more often they see you and you properly convey the advantages of your product. It's not just showing up, but it's getting the messaging right then that's allowing them to become more familiar and break down the barriers to say, hey, maybe I will try this new product.
If customers see the brand 3 times, they're gonna purchase. It's so easy to start a brand, on Amazon or Shopify. So there will be more and more brands emerging. That means the CPA online gonna be super high.
So today we have another brand joining us on the podcast, Kodai Takahashi, who is the co-founder of Silk the Rich.
We made a Silk the Rich like 3 years ago, which is a Japanese premium haircare brand spreading all over Asia, including Japan, Korea, Taiwan. And then we get into the US, K-pop, K-beauty. Asian thing is becoming like one of the mainstream. So we try to bring those messages into the brand while we don't change the concept and the core of the brand.
There's a lot of people, and I think myself included, who oftentimes want things to be perfect before you launch them, before you get them out. I think that does you a disservice. Ship the thing, get the thing out, do it. Just start and evolve from there. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Hey everyone, I'm Michael Marr, the host of The Longer Game, a podcast that talks all about the future of retail. Brick and mortar, direct-to-consumer, Amazon. If it's driving retail forward, we talk about it here on the show. Make sure to subscribe to catch every episode on LinkedIn, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And before we dive in, I just want to say thank you. Every listen, every share, all of those conversations, they mean a lot to us and they help us get our message heard. Retail is evolving very quickly. You've been along for the ride, and I appreciate you for being here. All right, let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome to The Longer Game, the podcast where we talk all about retail, and that means we talk about omnichannel and the fact that brands today are dealing with consumers who do not have linear experiences. They're experiencing someone being in the store, they're finding their brand online, and then maybe they're going to the store. It's just not a linear path anymore, and so brands really have to stay agile during this time period. So we bring all kinds of people on the podcast to talk about what it's like being in retail, what it's like being a direct-to-consumer, what it's like selling on Amazon, which is what my agency does. We help Cartology. We help brands to sell their products on Amazon. And so today we have another brand joining us on the podcast, Kodai Takahashi, who is the co-founder of Silk the Rich. He's joining us today. Welcome to the show, man. Tell us a little bit more about you and what you do.
All right, thank you. Hi, I'm Kodai, the CEO of Silk the Rich USA. We made a Silk the Rich like 3 years ago, which is a Japanese premium haircare brand spreading all over Asia, including Japan, Korea, Taiwan. And then we get into the US a year and a half years ago. So we are new, but we try to figure out what is a good thing and a bad thing in the US.
When you first got into the US, talk about that experience. What was that like for you?
So, as an Asian brand, we don't know much about like US, like what color, what like brand messages good for the US market. Like we have their, as a brand, we have the messages for the customers in Asia, but that doesn't mean like it's good for the customer in the US. So at the first month and the second month, we figure out what copywriting or what even color is the best for the customers in the US. And then depending on that, we try to change how we make the Instagram account or TikTok account or even website. That was the first point.
I think what's interesting is your product can have application across many different countries and can help and impact people in a positive way, or there can be a need for that product. We're all humans. We all have needs. We all want to, or most of us want to smell good. We want to, have good skin or clean skin. We need to be fed. We want to be healthy. So like we have kind of general needs, even though those things will change regionally. And it can be really challenging as trends emerge. Brands, a lot of times, we've talked about this before on here, on other, piece of content that I produce. Like I have a live show that I do on LinkedIn and on YouTube. And we'll talk to brands about just how to stay relevant. And a lot of times brands will change their product for the trend or change who they are for the trend to hop on that trend bandwagon. And I think it's a lot harder to say, hey, we want to still be true to who we are as a brand,
Mm.
but we want to be relevant where we're at. So you're not changing the core of your brand. You were basically changing your message to resonate with the people that were in a totally different country, but that maybe had the same needs. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's totally true. Like, as a brand, like we Silk's Rich bring in the culture of silk. So we exactly using a liquid silk inside. So if you use it, you put in the silk inside of your hair, and your hair gonna be super silky, shiny, smooth. That's how it works actually for every human beings on this planet. And also, like silk is one of the heritage from Asia. So we're bringing those, Japanese or Asian heritage to the Western world. So that's the concept. But every time the people in the US perceive the image of Asian beauty differently, I guess. They listen to like because of K beauty.
Yeah.
I think the Asian beauty stuff is like booming up, and the acceptance of the Asian brand is really growing up. So yeah, recently I see those shift for the customers too.
And if anything, this is if you like you talked about the adoption of K beauty allows for the acceptance of maybe J beauty or other styles of brands. So it's a really good opportunity to come in and say, hey, like we're kind of adjacent here. We're not exactly the same, but we have this cool thing that is applicable for all people that can help all people's hair to be nice, to be soft, whatever. And you're also taking heritage from the past silk industry that's been in Japan
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
bringing that to the forefront. So you're staying true to who you are as a brand, but you're making it relevant for the here and the now.
Yeah, that's so true. If we say like we're silk brand and put in a lot of like only heritage, that's too much for customers in the US.
Yeah.
If they know like K-pop, K-beauty, Asian thing is becoming like one of the mainstreams, like even anime is getting to the mainstream right now. So we try to bring those messages into the brand, uh, like while we don't change the concept and the core of the brand.
I love that. Do you feel like you've been able to resonate with people by staying true to the brand, but by reaching them in a way that maybe a language that they can understand?
Yeah, so that's an issue too. Like we didn't have any English, label, English concept,
Mhm.
English copywritings. So we started to make one. Sure.
Right now, brands are needing to be in multiple places at once.
Hmm.
And I think as much as my agency helps brands to win on Amazon, initially, 5 years ago, a lot of times people would say, well, we just want to focus on retail or we want to focus on
Hmm.
direct to consumer. We don't focus on Amazon or we don't want sales to be cannibalized on our direct to consumer site. And so we don't want to sell on Amazon. And I think there's a misunderstanding of how consumers operated even back then, but even more so now. And the reality is, consumers aren't just if you think, "Oh, well, we don't wanna be on Amazon because we don't want our sales to get cannibalized. We don't want them to go over to Amazon." You don't understand or know how Amazon works. Amazon is not taking customers from you per se. They have a built-in customer base, and there are people who might be going to your site that are also going to Amazon, but there are
That's
people who
true.
almost exclusively shop on Amazon. And they would never even think to go to your site. So you're actually missing customers, and it's a huge search engine. People go there first 50 to 60% of the time just to find and locate products. So if you're not showing up there, that means that you're missing out on an opportunity to be seen by these consumers, and someone else who is there, who's first to market, now maybe wins that customer and you don't have an opportunity to do that. So there's a misunderstanding of how that works. But now more than ever, customers are just not going online to your direct to consumer site. They're not just going to Amazon. They're not going to Walmart or to Target or to Home Depot only. They're going to multiple places. And sometimes it's about price, but sometimes it's about convenience. Tell me a little bit more about your experience of balancing the offline and the online together.
Yeah, for sure. So, in the US, we are selling online and offline, but offline, we only sell around like 30 to 40 stores right now,
Okay.
especially in LA, because I'm based in LA. So we are exclusive for California for, for the launching the product. But online, for sure, we're selling Amazon, D2C, some other EC malls. And then the ratio of Amazon is around like 40 to 50 percentages. So it's a lot for sure. So, and also like we started from Amazon actually. We started from Amazon. We got some reviews and we showed the reviews to retailers, distributors. And then we could get into some Asian stores because we are selling a lot in Asia too. So they believed in us, like, oh, they're from Asia, they sing a lot. And then they could sell well, like in Amazon, and then they have a good review. So they believe in us as an Asian brand to get into those shelves and they sell a lot. So that was the initial like year of this of our brand. And then for the future, this year we're planning to endorse some celebrities, well known for the US citizens. And once she gonna release those collaboration and ambassador program, we're gonna get into more retail stores to get more awareness. And once they know the product, they want to feel, oh, where is the product? And then when they go to some Whole Foods or Sephora, they can find it. That's really good, um, cycle for customers and for us too.
It's funny because when Amazon first got their start, they were a traditional retailer, like 1P only. So just like Target or Walmart will buy your product and they'll sell it. That's how Amazon got their start. And they would go to trade shows and just say, "Hey, we want to buy your product and we want to sell it on Amazon." And now brands are launching on Amazon, going to retailers saying, like you said, "Hey, look at our reviews, look at this." And that's actually opening doors
Mm,
for them. And that was not
yeah.
originally the case.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's funny how that's come full circle, but it's kind of amazing because one of the reasons why I think Amazon is so powerful, or I know that it's so powerful, is it's leveled the playing field a little bit. It's allowed someone like you who has created a brand and maybe didn't have those contacts in retail,
Mm,
with a Walmart or Target, which maybe for some people 20, 30, 40 years ago, getting on a Walmart shelf could have been make or break for your brand. But now you can start a brand. You don't have to invest as much capital. You can maybe start with a little bit less production.
yeah.
I think it's continuing to evolve over time, but you have the opportunity to get in front of customers and maybe even say, "Hey, is this working? Is this not working?" And then when you see that there's success, that's going and opening doors for you.
Mm,
And before it was not that way.
really? Wow.
Talk about you we talked about a little bit about how Amazon is a big part of what you're doing right now, but
Hmm.
where do you see the future of that going of in-store versus Amazon or just, in-store versus online? What do you feel like that looks like for brands or what are you paying attention to right now?
So, recently, as I mentioned, it's easy to launch a brand. It's so easy to start brand, on Amazon or Shopify. It's so easy to start. So there will be more and more brands emerging. That means the CPA online gonna be super high. So we're gonna have more difficult times to acquire customers only online because online is easy to go, but it's expensive to acquire customers. So I believe like online is for sure we should do to get more attention, but at the same time we should get as many shelves as possible. And then at the same time, I think it's like celebrity and those mandel promotion is a key to pull more customers and to let them understand, oh, this brand is so cool. And then we should buy this product. Like I think it's better to go on both to make the CPA online even lower.
So you feel like being on an in-store shelf can
Because
can decrease your acquisition cost. Why do you think that is?
imagine like when you see a new brand in Walmart, that is a first touch point for you.
Mhm.
And then if you see their brand online after that, oh, you can realize like, oh, I saw this brand in Walmart. Okay, let me check. And then maybe you're gonna buying on second touch. If you don't, once you're gonna see the brand again retargeted marketing, maybe you're gonna purchase because you saw it 3 times. There's no reason to avoid it anymore because you saw it, you knew, you understood the advantage of the brand, and then really think if customers see the brand 3 times, they're gonna purchase. So
So it's like from your perspective, greater familiarity with the brand.
yeah.
It's almost like you're building a relationship with the consumer by being in multiple places. You're showing up on the shelf. That's like a meet and greet. Then someone finds you
Mm,
online. That's like, becoming friends with them on Facebook or following them on Instagram or something like that. And then the retargeting could be a text or a phone call or something like that. But it's like you're building this relationship with this consumer, and the more often they see you. But I think you said something that was really key. The more often they see you and you properly convey the advantages of your product. It's not just showing up, but it's getting the messaging right. Why would you use this product? Why
yeah.
should someone purchase your product, maybe even over another product? It's highlighting those advantages when you get that airtime with them that's allowing them to become more familiar and break down the
Mhm.
barriers to say, hey, maybe I will try this new product,
Mm,
right?
yeah, definitely. That happened a lot so far. So
What's been some of the what's been some of the most exciting consumer stories that you have of, finding people, whether it's in Japan or in the States or wherever, just some of those customer interactions maybe that you've had that have been surprising even?
mm, so our brand is really huge in Japan now. We're selling over 10,000 stores. We are number one for over 10 months so far in some big chain
Wow.
retail stores as a shampoo. And then the first breakthrough for that was sponsorship for the YouTube channel, actually.
Mm.
In YouTube channel, no one was realizing the YouTube channel gonna be a good touch point for customers in terms of awareness. But once we do it, like we could get a lot of attention, awareness through the channel. And at the same time, we started selling over like 5,000 stores when we did the sponsorship. So the
Wow, okay.
customers can see through the YouTube channel because in the YouTube channel sponsorship, we say we our products are available in this store and that store, and they gonna see the landing page first. Even though they don't buy it, they're gonna go to the store because they want to buy some grocery or whatever they use in daily life, and they saw a brand and purchase at the time because they saw it in the YouTube, right? So that happened a lot. That happened like over thousands of times in a week because I could hear that story from the retailers.
They said, "Oh,
Eh,
we saw this brand on a YouTube video."
Yes.
Interesting, okay. It seems like the
So
non-traditional media, like podcasts or YouTube or whatever, like those kinds of sponsorships, like there are a couple. I don't really listen to podcasts, which is kind of funny
Mhm.
because I have my own podcast,
That's funny.
which is a kind of a crazy thing to say. But there are a couple that there's some work that I do that I
Hmm.
don't have to be as, like, locked in, like, it's more, it's a little bit more automatic, and so I might have
Hmm.
a podcast or, like, an episode. It's not like I watch it regularly, but I will watch episodes that are funny or that are interesting to me, and I've just noticed the amount of sponsorships that are on there, like people reading scripts of betting services or, online pharmacies or bed sheets or whatever the case might be. Like brands have really leaned into that. And it seems like that non traditional media has been a way to access a customer, whereas it used to be maybe TV commercials. But now I feel like being on a podcast might actually be more impactful because the
Hmm.
audience, the viewership of some of those podcasts, like you look at like Joe Rogan's podcast, he's got hundreds of millions of people. I'm pretty sure that are listening to his podcast. That's a
Yeah.
huge audience. I mean, it's going to cost a lot, but that's a huge audience.
100%. Yeah. That's huge. And then, yeah, it's like, finding a girlfriend. Like, even though in the first date, they couldn't get along, But maybe in the future, they're gonna find each other again. Oh, I found you before, right? We did dating before, and then they could get along after that. That happened a lot in this world, right?
It does.
So I think it's the same thing as a brand. We have to get a lot of attention. We have to get a lot of touch point with the customers. That makes our customer acquisition costs even lower. And yeah, that's why I think it's like online and offline is like doing both are really important.
I think you brought up something really interesting about the dating piece. I've heard a lot of stories of people who say, "We went on our first date and it was terrible, and I thought he was an ass, or I thought she was terrible, whatever." And then people ended up going on other dates and they ended up falling in love and being, being in a great relationship. And I think brands can take something away from that. And it was in what you said, but you didn't say it specifically, but I think, you want multiple touch points. And I think that what I'm getting from that is brands can't be afraid of rejection.
Yeah, I think
You
so.
you may not see, and I think from a digital perspective, a lot of times I will frame things in like a big brand, or like a legacy brand versus an emerging brand. Legacy brands are great at research and development. They're good at branding. They're good at supply chain. Like they have all these things that they've done for 50 to
Yeah.
100 years, and they've just done really, really well.
Hmm.
But they sometimes ignore digital, or oftentimes ignore digital to their own detriment, and that allows for other brands, emerging brands, to come in and capture the market where they maybe now have people captive. Like brands that have really won on Amazon are now able to get into retail, whereas if they tried to
Mm,
go retail first or really win there, they may not have been as successful. But they've actually been able to capture some of the market. Now they're growing in retail, and that's hurt some of these big legacy brands. And emerging brands have been first to market in some of those things, but emerging brands also have a lot more hurdles. They don't have their supply chain as developed. They don't have as much capital to build into. Being non-profitable without investors for an extended period of time is much more challenging,
mm,
versus a publicly traded company that's been
mhm,
around for a long time. But in the digital space, we're so focused on attribution. Like, what is my ROAS? I I advertised for this term. Did I get a sale or not? And
mm,
that's something that emerging brands miss that I think big brands get, when they would be focused on generating a ton of impressions or views on a Super Bowl commercial,
yeah.
or speaking of something that's it'll be gone well beyond when this episode comes out, but the Super Bowl is about to come up when we're recording now. So
Yeah.
they're they're focused on that brand awareness of getting those multiple touch points. And
Mm,
I think we're so focused sometimes as digital marketers or as brands can be so focused on getting the attribution that they forget that it's not going to happen right away.
mm, no.
And you can't be afraid of rejection, because you may miss out on finding your soulmate.
True. Like, yeah, with other, international founder coming to the US, like at the first copywriting was terrible. And then our employee was like, Kodai, what is this copywriting? Something like that. So we have to show that a lot and then test it out, like A/B test. Oh, this copywriting works. Oh, this didn't work. So like frequency of every test is gonna be the key for the emerging brand, I guess. So
There's a lot of people, and I think myself included, who oftentimes want things to be perfect before you launch them, before you get them out.
true.
And I
We
think
are.
I think that does you a disservice. Like,
Mm,
one of the most simple ways I've heard it put is like, you can do things. Like, you can just go out and do things and try things and see if they work or not. If
mhm.
it's almost like saying, I'm gonna wait to go to the gym until I'm really fit, which doesn't make any sense at all. If you did that, you would
No.
have a home gym, hopefully, and then maybe you'd be able to be jacked. I love working out at home, but I didn't wait to go start working out until I didn't wait until I was super fit to start working out. It just would not happen. Like, it's never gonna, that's maybe not the best example, but it's decent. but like
Yeah.
ship the thing, get the thing out, do it.
Hmm.
Just start
Yeah.
and evolve from there. Don't wait for it to be perfect. And because I think, and you could probably attest to this, but how much did you learn in that process of doing the bad copywriting to getting to the better stuff, to adjusting the colors? Like, how much did you grow and learn during that time?
I mean, a lot. Like I cannot describe this as a like number or something,
Sure.
but I really feel like if even though we thought this is 100% sure and okay, we can go with this, maybe that doesn't work in the market. So we should like launch and test it out and check it out, and PDCA should be the key because nobody knows what's gonna be the good, copyright thing and what is a good marketing stuff, right?
You might have an idea,
Yeah,
but you won't
you should
know.
slow it away to the market.
Right. Yeah, but you won't know until you actually go live.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I really think like we as a Japanese really don't like taking a risk.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that was a little bit hard for me to try it out like again and again because I don't like to be denied.
Okay.
But once I came here, I changed my mind. Okay, I have to test it out, and nobody cares. And I do it again and again, and our CPA is going down, rather than getting better and better. So yeah, right now I'm still figuring it out, but it's going well now, better than before.
So you basically had to you came from a culture where you feel like, "Hey, I'm not really as willing to take risks," and you basically had to go against that in order to be successful here.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I'm here.
And do you feel like you've been able to take any of that back to Japan with you? Any of that learning of, like, being willing to take risks?
Yeah, I totally changed in a year. So when I come back to Japan, everybody say to me, "Oh, you changed a lot." So yeah,
Do you feel
that's
like
my
you
personal learning part.
Okay. Do you feel like you've been able to take anything at a company level back to Japan that, like, "Hey, take risks, let's test things out" mindset?
I I think so because when I'm here, I can learn a lot about the brand, how the brand in the US like succeeded in the market, and I can learn like they took a risk here.
Yeah.
So I can talk about that with a fact of
Yep.
those brands. Like this example, like which took risk and it's get succeed. So the members in Japan can understand. Oh, this is a way to go global right now.
So in a way, coming here forced you to take a step back in some senses and shift your thinking, but it's allowed
Mhm.
you to go back to Japan and be a pioneer of sorts because people are like, "Hey, Kodai,
Yeah.
he's willing to take risks. That's weird."
Yes, but I'm used to it now, so I don't feel weird. They feel weird, but I don't feel
You don't,
weird.
but they do.
I know. Yes, they do.
But I think that just goes back to what you said about the brand and getting multiple touch points. Like the more exposure to something you get, the less strange or weird it becomes. I think at even a really core level, the reason why people have I think it's very normal to have a prejudice against someone when you have no
Mhm.
interaction with them. I'm not saying we should lean into that, but it's very normal. Like, I don't know this person that looks like this. So or I've heard things and I've never really interacted with someone, or I had one bad experience. So now I have a prejudice or bias against this person. And the more exposure you have, the more you'll likely realize, oh, maybe that was a one off case. Or, hey, maybe this person isn't as bad as I thought they were. And it doesn't have to be even on racial or ethnic lines. It could just be, hey, someone told me that John is a real ass. But now I'm friends with him and I realize, oh, it was that other person that was actually
Yeah.
not very cool. And they were
Yeah, that's
talking
true.
trash about John's. But
Mhm.
you talked about, being more exposed to taking risks. Well, now it's normal for you. The same thing I think is applicable for brands getting exposed to the consumer and the more touch points that you have, the less weird you become
Mm,
to that consumer and the more willing they are to have a relationship and to try and test and purchase your product.
that's true. That's why I do a lot of pop-up these days too.
You do
I do a lot.
in the LA area.
Yeah, in LA, San Diego next month.
I've heard people talk about a lot of pop-ups, I feel like, over the past couple of years, and it seems like it drives excitement. Is that true?
Yeah, driving silent even for like me as a founder, and then it's really good to like gathering like customers information, like
Mm.
how customers think about our brand. It doesn't make a lot of sales. In terms of sales, it doesn't,
Okay.
it's not that good. But in terms of getting feedback, getting our, to exposure to the market,
I was just gonna say.
or we can use the fact like, oh, we did a pop-up here, and then we're gonna do this here, and we can make communities through this pop-up too. So we are building a community of Six Reach too.
Yeah, that's good, and that's another that's actually the oldest form of retail is a pop-up
Mhm.
shop, basically like a bazaar or a market. That was the
Yeah.
original retail. So you're now you've got another touch point, another channel, if you will. It's not a
Mhm.
physical store
Yep.
that's staying still. It's not direct to
Mhm.
consumer. It's not Amazon, but now it's a pop-up shop. So it's just one more layer of omni-channel that you're experimenting with.
That's true. And then there's interesting story. Like I did a pop-up like in LA a lot. And then sometimes I go to events which doesn't relate to the business itself, like mixture or like happy
Yeah.
hour
Mhm.
kind of thing. And then randomly talk to people, and then they realize me as a Silk Series founder. Oh, you're Kodai? You selling the products in here? I bought it. Something like that. That happens a lot in LA
Wow.
now
Okay.
because it's not a big city. Oh, yeah, it's a big city, but still, if you do a lot of pop up there, they can realize me because I have a unique hairstyle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You
then,
got great hair, man.
yeah, thank you. I'm the best salesperson.
Yeah, I was gonna
So,
say, soak the rich. You must be using it like crazy.
yeah. So yeah, I see those people like purchasing from the pop-ups, they tell to their friends, families, and expanding from their, small community to the bigger stage now.
And the referrals, the word of mouth
Word of mouth.
marketing is still super, super powerful. So you're able to get exposure to someone at that pop up, then they try it or something, and then they tell their friends, and their friends tell their friends. Like growing it over time takes a lot of effort, and,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes patience.
Yep.
But I've talked with other brands like Fishwife, who they said, "Hey,
Mhm.
we launched in smaller retailers intentionally because those shop owners loved their shop and they love the products. And so the first exposure that someone gets is this small bodega or this small market where someone's talking about our product that is super passionate about it. And then maybe they go and buy online. And now when they see,
Yeah.
oh, we're at Target, now you've got a built-in user base because of the convenience of the accessibility. But they're always going to remember that first touch point when they were at Modica Market or that whatever that small, retailer is that they first experience your brand at, which is what
Mm.
you're doing in these Asian markets is like that first touch point where people are really passionate, really care. It's smaller, it's a little bit more focused, and maybe it's not as much exposure, but it's a really a great opportunity to reach people.
Yeah. 100%. So we, I don't know what's gonna happen, but at least I decided like, okay, we're gonna do pop up as much as possible because nobody knows. Like maybe the buyer will gonna come and then some celebrity gonna come. Nobody knows. So
Ooh, I like that. Maybe you'll get some autographs. Maybe you'll sign some autographs.
yeah, let's do it.
Kodai, you've been great, man. I so appreciate you coming on and chatting with us. If people want to know more about what it is that you're doing, where should they go to find you? Will you be washing your hair at a pop up in front of people, or where can they find out more about what it is that you're doing?
So basically, we upload a lot of videos and contents on Instagram. So if you find me at Mark Kodai underscore Takahashi, you can find me and you can find the brand in my bio too. So
Love it. All right, people. Well, you heard it here first. Kodai underscore Takahashi. You want to find out what he's doing? Go take a look. That's all we got for you today. Until next time. See you then. And if this episode hit close to home because we talked about something like Amazon that feels complex or fragmented, this is exactly what we do at Cartology. I'm Michael Marr. I own Cartology. We are a full-service Amazon agency. We take extreme ownership in the work that we do. We get results, and we have a holistic end-to-end service that not just gives you strategy, but we also handle the execution and everything in between. If you want a partner who's actually accountable for outcomes and that you will love working with and trust, find our information in the show notes. We'd love to talk with you. Thanks again for spending your time here. I'm Michael Marr, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Longer Game.